So we are moving through our second unit on the various economic movements. And today's class focused on the movement of individualism and the man associated with that movement, Friedrich Hayek. Sorry, it's not Selma Hayek. I know a lot of you would be more interested if it was. I'm really sorry to disappoint. I'm sorry. So anyway, moving on. I posed these two opening questions. Question one, what happens when you choose one brand over another at the store? And the second question, how do those private choices affect what products are available? Fairly basic economic questions. We talked, we discussed, but I'll cut to the chase for you. The answer is your individual choices send signals in the market. And this picture is a fairly, common picture. You see it at Myers or Kroger's, and there are a bunch of peppers. So if a bunch of people love poblano peppers here and are buying poblanos like crazy, and people don't like these orange bell peppers, will the market pick up on that? Well, according to Hayek, absolutely it will. So who was Hayek? He was a very educated guy. Now, he was born in Austria, and he's part of the Austrian School of Economics, and he earned doctorates, big deal. Had a Nobel Prize and wrote these books that are still read in college. He was part of that big three of economics, or economists, I should say. Keynes, Friedman, Hayek. Different views, and these are the big three economists that in this class, and if you go to college and take economics, you're going to hear about them again. And for those who want it as simple as I can put it, if you take individualism in Hayek's philosophy, it really boils down to these four words. Individual choices are paramount. That's it. That's the biggest thing. Individual choices are paramount. So I hope you have that basic understanding with that. And we read an excerpt in class and we had the highlighters and that kind of thing. I'm going to read it to you, and it's from Individualism, True and False by Friedrich Hayek. What then are the essential characteristics of true individualism? The first thing that should be said is that it is primarily a theory of society, an attempt to understand the forces which determine the social life of man, and only in the second instance, a set of political maxims derived from this view of society. This fact should by itself be sufficient to refute the silliest of the common misunderstandings. The belief that individualism postulates or bases arguments on the assumption of the existence of isolated or self-contained individuals, instead of starting from men whose whole nature and character is determined by their existence in society. If that were true, it would indeed have nothing to contribute to our understanding of society, but its basic contention is quite a different one. It is that there is no other way toward an understanding of social phenomena but through our understanding of individual actions directed toward other people and guided by their expected behavior. This argument is directed primarily against the properly collectivist theories of society, which pretend to be able directly to comprehend social wholes like society, etc., as entities sui generis, which exist independently of the individuals which compose them. The next step in the individualistic analysis of society, however, is directed against the rationalistic pseudo individualism, which also leads to practical collectivism. It is the contention that, by tracing the combined effects of individual actions, we discover that many of the institutions on which human achievements rest have arisen and are functioning without a designing and directing mind. That, as Adam Ferguson expressed it, nations stumble upon establishments, which are indeed the result of human action, but not the result of human design, and that the spontaneous collaboration of free men often creates things which are greater than their individual minds can ever fully comprehend. Now, with the benefit of having 15, 20 minutes in class and breaking it into chunks and highlighters, it's a lot easier. But hopefully you get the gist of this on your own. If not, I can take you through it when you get back to class. Now, he mentions individualism. Now, Hayek had two meanings. Meaning one that rejects rationalism or top-down planning. Again, you can try to plan for, human choices and that sort of thing. Ultimately, people are going to behave as individuals. You really aren't going to be able to plan for that. And number two, one that embraces individual reasoning and decentralized decision making. Individual reasoning is at the core of economy. And this quote, I hope you get this. Hayek said, "We must face the fact that the preservation of individual freedom is incompatible with the full satisfaction of our views of distributive justice." Okay, now a term I need you to associate with this man is the term spontaneous order. And these are patterns that emerge when individuals act in their own interest. This is an important term Hayek coined. So here's some examples, real life examples. Language. Words go extinct. Words are invented. You speak differently than I do. The slang of my youth is different than the slang of your youth. If you were to tell me 30 years ago, Google, I'd have no idea what you're talking about. Now we understand Google. Language evolves on its own. You don't need to plan for it. It happens. Common law. You know, judicial decisions are based on past rulings. For example, the golden rule. Is that in every society? Is that in every religion? Do they have to plan for that? Does somebody have to say that? It happened organically. It happened naturally. Skating rinks. You ever go to Campus Martius and go ice skating? If you haven't, it's a good time. So it's an open rink. You can do a roller skating rink, same thing, whatever you do. You notice that skaters naturally form lines and rhythms to avoid collisions. You don't need anybody, looking in and telling you which way to go. People naturally do that. Um, and here's Campus Martius, and people are doing their thing. The personal computer revolution. How did the PC industry grow from just a few entrepreneurs in garages to being this huge sort of thing? It wasn't a government blueprint. I even go further. Take Wikipedia over Encarta. This is before your time, but Microsoft put a lot of money into this thing called Encarta, thinking that was going to be the big search. Wikipedia are individuals who make it. It's a nonprofit organization. If you were to tell me Wikipedia would be the search and not Encarta, I would be shocked, back years ago, but it happened spontaneously. And the internet's network structure. So at first, when the internet came out in the 90s, it was kind of this loosey-goosey thing. Now it's super organized. And again, didn't need top-down planning. Individuals created that. And the final question I asked, why does Hayek believe individualism leads to better economic outcomes? What examples can you think of where this holds true? What examples can you think of where this does not hold true? And I would love, love, love for you to put some Keynesianism in there and put some monetarism in there and think of a time in life where Hayek is correct. Okay, so that's a basic breakdown of individualism and Hayek, and we have a couple more lessons on this in this unit, and then we'll move on to other things. So hope life is good on your end, and take good care of yourselves.